A lot of you may not know this, but High School Musical, the musical, the series was actually my first claim to niche internet fame. Oh, that's cool. Were you an extra on the show or something? No, that would actually be cool. And also, I'm old. What happened was from 2020 to 2022, alongside the peak of Feralton, I also posted my reaction to the series and it garnered quite a lot of views. I quit by like the middle of season 3 because I moved on with what I wanted to create. Too much time has passed. I wish I cared more. But now it's finally time to see where this series went. I'm scared.
I'm scared.
You're videotaping the show. On you.
Butt lovers! Yes, this is the top that Miss Jen wore in one episode of the series.
Wow.
Welcome back to Camp or Cringe, Lore's usually edgier cousin. In this series, we've covered Faking It, Awkward, Happy Land, Finding Carter, 2018 Heathers, and Insatiable. There's quite a bit of shock-out humor in all of those, so Disney's High School Musical, the series is quite the departure, but it's still a teen drama that makes me gasp and guffaw all the same. So today, we will decide whether it's camp, or cringe, or both, or neither. High School Musical, the series, despite its name, has almost nothing to do with the original trilogy. I remember when this TV show was first announced, people just assumed it was going to follow the main cast's kids. That's gotta be Ryan's kid. But instead it follows a random group of theater kids that just so happen to go to the school where High School Musical was filmed, and they're putting on a production of High School Musical in their theater department. I couldn't think of a more boring premise, but the Office-esque confessional style really makes it feel like a reality show. And with the never-ending romance drama of theater kids, it is a lot. It is anything but boring, I'd say. Let's break it down episode by episode. But first, I need to sleep. That's right, I need a power nap right in the middle of this video. Let's see if today's sponsor can help with that. Thank you so much to Helix Mattresses. Premium mattresses customized to fit your needs, conveniently shipped to your door. I'm moving out very soon. I really needed a new mattress. I toss and turn in my sleep, and with Helix's mattress quiz, I was able to say all of my preferences, me and Ben's preferences, and I think they really hit the nail on the head with this one. Ben and I were paired with Helix Midnight Lux. I love this memory foam. It's a medium memory foam, so it's still sturdy. It's not too hard, it's not too soft, it's just right. This has already improved our sleep tremendously. Look at the way me and Ben look at each other when we realize this is our new mattress. Hashtag blessed. The best part? Helix delivers your mattress right to your door with free shipping in the United States. The mattress comes rolled up in a box and it's so easy to set up. Like, I was not ready for this. It basically set up itself. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe and Ultra Premium Elite collections. The Helix Plus, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and the Helix Kids mattress designed for growing bodies and endorsed by child sleep and medical experts. And if it makes you nervous to buy something that you haven't tried, Helix has a 100-night sleep trial, so you get more than 3 months to make sure you love it. And with their 10-year warranty, they offer flexible payment plans and offer different financing options. Use my link, helix.com/AthenaP for 20% off your Helix mattress and 2 free pillows. Thank you so much again to Helix Sleep. This has been such a blast. Be sure to check out the link in my description. Now back to the video. Episode 1, the audition, picks up after summer break. We are introduced to Ricky and Nini, who decided to take a break after their almost 1-year anniversary, where Nini sang on Instagram that she loved him, to which he looked terrified, completely unable to say it back. During summer break and relationship break, Nini got into a new relationship with EJ Caswell. Ricky, in a confessional, says that love is dead. Now you're able to say love, dude? Now? Also, the confessional format is very jarring at first. Like, who is sticking a camera in these kids' faces and asking them about their love lives? World's strangest paparazzi. Jessica, you said you have a crush on Timmy, but ever since Andrew let you borrow his eraser, you winked at him. Any comment? It's complicated. This is a kindergarten. Get out of my classroom. I'm calling the police. What's worse is the confessional followed Ricky back to his house to unpack his parents' broken marriage, too. I hate both of Ricky's parents so goddamn much, but we'll unpack that later. First, let's talk about how Nini feels like her voice isn't being heard, and how her new senior boyfriend, EJ, is being intense as fuck. They've been dating for like 2 months at most, and he's like, ever since I saw her playing a cow's ass, I knew she'd be a star. He is very confident they will get Troy and Gabriella because they are a package deal. Very clingy. Speaking of clingy, Ricky decides to audition for the musical just to try and get Nini to talk to him. We cut to auditions where a fully choreographed and complicated dance number is somehow the warm-up. And as these kids are dancing in front of her, Miss Jenn, the director, keeps unsubtly announcing, "She's really good," at Gina, who to be fair is an amazing dancer. Gina is shown to be Nini's biggest competition, and despite killing it at the auditions, they cast a boy as Sharpay, and Gina as Taylor, which feels fucked up and unfair to me. On top of Gina being pushed aside despite her talent, we also see Courtney, Nini's best friend, there to do her makeup. So if Nini feels stifled, imagine how every other girl in the series at this point must feel. Which brings me to the director, Miss Jenn. She is an unstable nightmare.
Go Wildcats! Yeah.
Miss Darbus from High School Musical was iconic because she was the ideal director. She was supportive and silly and extra and spoke in a silly accent.
Musical.
Miss Jenn, on the other hand, is how most directors in my experience actually are. In the beginning, Miss Jenn is living her dreams through these children. You'll see why later. And then she doesn't even cast all the leading lady roles as ladies. At the same time, though, none of the girls wanted to read as Sharpay for some reason. Why is everyone so obsessed with Gabriella? I'd want to play Sharpay or Ryan, to be honest. This feeling's like no other. It was also bizarre that Miss Jenn just looked at them and guessed which characters they wanted to play.
Major Taylor vibes. Probably a Chad.
What about him screams Chad, Miss Jenn? Answer quickly. Speaking of weird, during the audition, Miss Jenn makes an uncomfortable remark at the high school-aged E.J. Caswell.
Army Hammer just called. He wants his jawline back.
What the fuck? Is this allowed?
You could have complimented him on his performance, I don't know. Before Nini's audition, EJ says I love you to her. And we see a full flashback play out of the day Nini told Ricky she loved him. And we know how that story goes. Ricky doesn't say it back to Nini. But wait, hold on a second. Did Nini say it back to EJ? What the hell is going on with those two? I mean, they were only dating for 2 months and they're already framing it like a rebound, so I guess who cares? Before Nini sings, Ricky runs in screaming, "Is it too late? Is it too late?" That's one way to get her attention, I guess. Ricky wants to read for Troy. Carlos, the choreographer, says Troy wouldn't be late, even though he absolutely would be. And then when EJ cheers for Nini before her audition, Miss Jenn once again gets so distracted by EJ, she spills her coffee all over the lighting panel and all the lights go out. We're already 1 episode in and you're already on thin ice, Miss Jenn. Then this leads into one of the most awkward scenes ever, where EJ and Ricky competitively hold flashlights in Nini's face as she sings.
Least helpful thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh, audition in the dark? That's fine. I never believed in what I couldn't. Can you not?
But during her audition, something miraculous happens. She fully dissociates and these 2 idiotic boys fade away so she can be the lead she's destined to be. Until Olivia Rodrigo got too big to be in the show anymore. So then we get Ricky's audition where he dramatically crushes the paper and he abandons the monologue.
Oh my god.
Motherfucker goes off book to do this instead.
Even if you never said the L word to Gabriella, because that's like not even a word your parents say to each other anymore.
He trauma dumps about his parents' incoming divorce, which, although relatable, why didn't anybody stop him? Yeah, and maybe Troy's parents don't love each other anymore. That's actually not true. They have a great relationship in all 3 movies. Well, that's great for him! Hey, come on now. It's okay. Either get your head in the game or get your ass in therapy. An even bigger slap in the face is Ricky performs Nini's I Love You song in front of everyone for his audition. And then somehow he gets cast as Troy. Listen, that is very High School Musical of them, considering Troy and Gabriella just stumbled into the theater. And it pissed me off just as much now. No, it pisses me off even more now than it did back then. Because at least in the original movie, you can argue that it was Gabriella and Troy's chemistry that got them cast, and Miss Darbus didn't want to cast siblings as love interests, which is valid. But in this, Miss Jenn just encourages unhealthy coping skills through song. Something you'll see she is no stranger to.
We're all in this together.
Episode 2 is the read-through, and we have new dynamics to explore. Ashlyn, who is always so enthusiastic and always sees the bright side of everything, is cast as Miss Darbus.
I'm
dying. I'm deceased, yes.
And Ashlyn is also EJ's cousin, who says it's good for him to not get what he wants for once. A crazy piece of family history to drop before this series gives EJ nothing he wants, to be honest. So we'll see growth through that, I hope. Ricky's best friend, Big Red, gets roped into all this theater stuff when Miss Jenn needs somebody to read the stage directions. And he's frightened, as he should be. Those are called survival instincts, which he completely ignores. We meet Sebastian, who's playing Sharpay, and they make him so likable, it makes me look like an asshole for pointing out that he shouldn't be playing Sharpay. But I stand by it. The musical theater girlies should not be getting less leads. At least make Ryan a girl then, you know what I mean? But Ryan is still played by a dude. He's just never focused on, despite being one of the leads. Miss Jenn adds a kiss between Troy and Gabriella, and decides to start with that scene because we need stakes now. We also need Miss Jenn in handcuffs. There is no reason to add a kiss, and when Nini, a child, goes up to you expressing that she's uncomfortable with this, you said, get in character. Miss Jenn has so many funny moments, so I forgot what an absolute terror she is. EJ is upset with Miss Jenn, which is valid, but he's not upset because Nini's uncomfortable, he's upset because he's intimidated. In fact, he thought Ricky sent a text to Nini, so he sends his cousin Ashlyn to steal his girlfriend's phone. Have you considered instead just talking to Nini? And he tries to guilt Ashlyn into stealing the phone, saying that Nini makes him a better person. Well, apparently she doesn't make you that good of a person, dude. Also, I forgot how intense Gina was about being Gabriella's understudy. She tries 2 different methods of sabotage, neither of which make sense to me. First, when Ricky almost quits after Nini correctly pointing out that he's not taking the work seriously, Gina assumes if he stays, Nini will leave. So she goes to the skate park to pep talk him. But Ricky comes to the conclusion that he should stay on his own because he's convinced he can show Nini how serious he is about her through showing how serious he is about the show, which would sound crazy if it didn't immediately work. Look at how Nini lurks around the bookshelf, as if to say, wow, he's really doing it. He's dancing. He's doing a theater. Ashlyn performs her original song Miss Jenn told her to write for the musical. And it's beautiful, but it makes absolutely no sense for Miss Darbus. Here's some of the lyrics. Seems like a part of me will always have to lose. Every single time I have to choose. Swore that it felt right, but was I wrong? Maybe this is about the casting of the show? And yes, Miss Darbus, Sharpay should be leading lady, but let's continue. If I could go back and change the past, be a little braver than I have, and bet against the odds, would I still be lost? So I don't know what Miss Darbus is going through at this point. But Nini sings the song, clearly still confused about her feelings towards Ricky, which he hears because he's always there for her except for that one time he wasn't, which is why they broke up. And god damn it guys, this was Ashlyn's song and it was hijacked by the first love triangle. And yes, I did say the first love triangle. Gina's second plan, now that Ricky and Nini are okay playing the leads together, is to cause tension in Nini's new relationship by helping EJ steal her phone. Here are my 2 main defenses for Gina. 1, her cutthroat ways are immediately explained in the first episode. Her mother is also very intense. She says if Gina can't be the best at something, don't bother. A lot of pressure to put on a kid just trying to do an extracurricular activity. Second defense is she isn't actually starting any problems. She's just fanning existent flames. Ricky is wishy-washy and EJ is paranoid. Sure, she's using these traits against them, but has Ricky tried not being wishy-washy? Has EJ tried not being paranoid? Episode 3 started with EJ saying she told him she loved him. And I was like, holy shit, she said that to Ricky recently? No, dude, he looked at her archived Instagram post. Red flag number 1, and the biggest one, is that he cares about her past relationship so much to the point where he'd go so far as to do something like this. Even saying, I play to win. Ew. But a tinier red flag is that they didn't talk about this in the first place. Not that that excuses anything, but finding out you're a rebound can be rough. Okay, so we're playing characters who play basketball. So we're gonna dribble this around saying basketball terms. Go. Air ball. 3-pointer. Rebound. What the fuck did you just call me? Oh, I wasn't calling you anything. A rebound is when, you get to make another... EJ also listens to a voicemail left by Ricky and deletes it off her phone. Nini is frantically looking for her phone, while Gina talks to Miss Jenn about having rehearsal an hour early. Nini immediately sees through Gina because she's not being particularly subtle, especially with the Broadway-level choreo that Nini and 99% of the world cannot do. 5, 6, 7, 8, high kick. I'm gonna pull something. Oh, my underwear. I can't I can't do that. Nini immediately decides to steal back. The an eye for an eye method. Pretty hardcore. I was not expecting this from Nini. When Nini excitedly tells EJ that she's now stealing more than just the hearts of teenage boys, he lectures her about how stealing is bad. Did he only realize it's bad when someone not him does it? Or is he scared because he realizes he's the next stop on this revenge train once she finds out? Nini was about to return Gina's shoes, but then overheard Gina calling her bland, so her and Courtney stole way more of Gina's shit. This is the most accurate depiction of high school theater to a concerning degree. That and this SNL sketch. Now we get to EJ's iconic Billy and Sorry song that he wants to perform to Nini to come clean about the distrust, thievery, invasion of privacy, and overall insanity.
Insanity.
Yes. Also, why are you practicing on your cousin? Jail. Second apology song I've listened to in 2 weeks. Miss Piggy did it better. Ratio. Ricky and EJ have a tough time pretending to be best friends on account of the fact that they both fucking hate each other to the point of violence.
He needs some milk.
EJ decides not to come clean to Nini because now his hatred of Ricky is his driving force. And he tells Ricky to back off and stop leaving thirsty messages on his girlfriend's voicemail. I mean, he has a point.
I thought there was a little trust left between us. The next time I spill my guts out to you in a voicemail, do me a favor and keep it to yourself.
Okay, aside from the fact that that's not what happened, let's pretend for a moment it did. Let's pretend for a moment Nini had her phone, she listened to the voicemail, told EJ about it, and then EJ said that to Ricky. Let's pretend that that happened. That is just good communication between two people in a relationship. So Nini found out her boyfriend EJ stole her phone, and that's how the episode ends. But before we move on, let's talk about Ben Mazzara. I remember in my first watch through, I loved this guy. But honestly, he oversteps in a way very similar to Miss Jenn. Ben really cares about his robotics club, so now he's competing with theater kids. At first, his concern for Carlos's unhealthy friendship with Miss Jenn seems to come from a good place. But when he essentially tells Carlos, a child, that he has no friends, while smirking, looking so proud of himself, he went too far. Crushing the hopes and dreams of a high schooler is like taking candy from a baby. I also took candy from this baby. Anyway, Ben finds out that Miss Jenn wasn't a background dancer for High School Musical like she said she was. She was only an extra in the movie. Wait, that's still really cool. So he was gonna tell the kids that Miss Jenn is a fraud, but then he heard them singing and he's like, shit, they're really good actually. Damn it. You won this round. Yeah, I don't know why I like this guy. I think I just had a crush on the actor, in all honesty.
Episode 4, blocking. Is this a play on words? Because in theater, blocking is like where you are on the stage, but is she also like gonna block someone like social media? Let's find out.
So this episode starts with a breakup because Nini is not messing around, and I respect that. But this is also when the second most unhinged reveal of the entire series takes place.
That gave me the bad chills.
Nini was able to play the lead at the theater summer camp her and EJ got together at because she was the understudy and the lead got sick. In this moment, it was revealed to not only Nini, but the entire audience that the original lead only got sick because EJ purposely food poisoned her.
What?
So aside from my original reactions in 2021, I also recreated some of the scenes from memory, and this is one of them. I have to play a bit of it. So yes, I am self-plagiarizing. Throw me in jail along with EJ because again, he fucking poisoned someone. Okay, I'm sorry I stole your phone, but listen, I did everything for us. Like, you know how you got the lead? You know? What do you mean? Like, she got sick and I went on. You were the understudy and the girl got sick. Well, I gave her a rotten egg. Oh my god. Yeah, Nini, I poisoned her for you. For us. Everything I do is for us. You're a basket case, a nut job. Are you serious?
Take it down a notch. I slipped her a bad deviled egg. I didn't think it would actually work.
Miss Jenn is freaking out, yelling at the whole cast over Nini and Ricky's unprofessionalism. Beyond realistic once again, directors do this shit all the time. Why are you yelling at them? They did nothing. So Miss Jenn is screaming at Ricky over being late, so he's forced to open up about his parents' divorce. Bruh. And immediately she empathizes with him and softens up. So, woohoo, you're not a monster, but I never processed the scene before this. This kind of went over my head probably because she's not a main character, but Natalie, the stage manager, is seen freaking out and crying over her hamster being lost somewhere in the school. Miss Jenn shows no empathy towards her and even jokes about bringing a coyote into school to kill the hamster. Miss Jenn, EJ, and Ricky's parents need to be institutionalized. Ricky doesn't want to go home to his broken-ass family, so first he tries to sleep at his best friend Big Red's house, but his sleep apnea machine is super loud, so he goes to Nini's house because they were childhood friends after all, and it feels like his support system is getting smaller and smaller. And everything was fine until he tried to kiss her. An exceptionally bold move because at this point he didn't even know she was single.
Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky. Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky. Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky. Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky.
Then Olivia Rodrigo once again steals the show with All I want is love at last. Is all I want too much to ask? Is there something wrong with me?
I know this song, it's from TikTok.
Oh, and Gina convinces EJ that the way to get Nini back is to take her, Gina, to homecoming. Episode 5 is Homecoming. Nini and Courtney decide they're not going, instead opting in for a girls' night instead, which Miss Jenn crashes. A totally normal dynamic. /J if you were wondering. Nini and Courtney have a boys are back moment, where Courtney empowers Nini to see why she's felt stuck this whole time. She is focusing too much on what boys think. We also find out halfway through the season that Courtney has an incredible voice. She should audition for the shows. Thankfully, there's 3 seasons for exactly that. Miss Jenn, while out with these high schoolers, starts a flirtationship with Ricky's dad, who at this point, she doesn't know is Ricky's dad. Now cut to Homecoming. This is when Sebastian and Carlos got together. I wrote this as I was watching. I called them a power couple in the show and in real life. Gina admits that her plans are absolute shit, and she's getting really stressed out because I think she's finally coming to terms with the fact that she's not going to be playing Gabriella in this production. Ricky told her off for going to the dance with EJ, which was completely out of left field. I still don't know why he did that, but somehow through an unheard conversation, EJ was the one that left with a drink poured on his head. We never heard what he said. I'm gonna assume he deserved it. But how Ricky got out of this with a kiss on the cheek instead of a drink poured on his own head is beyond me. Like, yes, he apologized, but both Ricky and EJ need to stop seeing girls as an end-all be-all to their happiness. Episode 6 was the most painful. Because it was so emotional? No, because it was concentrated cringe, the likes of which I've never seen before anywhere else other than real life. Miss Jenn's teaching, and more importantly her directing, is on the line because she lied about almost everything on her resume. And the entire cast is acting like she's dying, like this is the end of times. They are sobbing. They are getting snappy with each other. We really see how culty theater can be, as the entire cast stays up all night to learn a song to perform it at her hearing to plead her case to the principal to let her keep her job. It works somehow, with Martha Cox from High School Musical playing a teacher and hitting her iconic dance move. If I were the principal, I would have fired them both on the spot. Younger Athena, any comment?
Holy shit, if I was in high school and somebody was like, the director's gone, I'd be like, fuck yeah, finally, let's go. Anarchy!
I agree. While we're here cringing at the cultiness of high school theater, let's read some confessions from fellow theater kids that were submitted on my Instagram story. When I played Pinocchio in Shrek, my fake nose looked uncomfortably phallic. We laughed when our teacher made jokes about fucking our moms, but turns out he was. That's the perfect confession for this show because Miss Jenn is literally with the kid's dad. Wow. Have a mental breakdown to try and be in character, only for the director to say, stop crying. When I was in school, they always tried to make us cry with our real trauma. That's me personally. I did a Jamaican accent to play Sebastian in 5th grade. I am very white.
Everyone's having legitimate crises, and this dude's just losing followers, me!
Episode 7 shows the real heart of this group beyond just boy drama and Miss Jenn. There's a big party with all the kids over break for this fictional holiday called Thanksgiving. Am I pronouncing that right? So while Ricky and Gina's emotional feelings towards each other get stronger and Nini is clearly jealous, her and Gina have no hard feelings. Gina, whose mom makes her move around a lot, is really excited for her first sleepover. This scene is so cute. She's just so happy to have friends. EJ apologized to the girl he poisoned, whose name is Emily, and Emily over FaceTime talks to Nini about the theater boarding school she's going to. This episode establishes Gina and Nini as foils, with Gina desperately wanting to stay, while Nini needs a change of scenery and doesn't want to be tied down to the people she's known her entire life. Big Red and Ashlyn's romance also starts this episode, and their origin story melts my heart. He's so supportive and it makes her feel so seen, as younger Athena would say.
Gingers in love, gingers in love, happy dance.
Miss Jenn and Ben have a little date in the school, where Disney very unsubtly plugs itself again by having them watch Big Hero 6, which combines their interests of storytelling and robotics. Now here's the biggest thing this season that makes me fully fucking lose it. We're finally gonna get into Ricky's parents. Ricky's dad is fully incompetent, but somehow he's the main caregiver because Ricky's mom moved away to Chicago. For a while his parents claimed they were trying to make it work via phone therapy, but if you can't stand your husband to the point where you run away from him and your son, I don't think your marriage is a fixable thing. More evidence of this is in episode 4, where they break the news to their son about their divorce in the midst of a fight, after seeing each other in person for the first time in months. Now here's where it goes from infuriating to I want to murder these fictional characters. When Ricky calls his mom this episode, a dude named Todd answers her phone, saying, "Oh Ricky, I've heard so much about you. Can I leave a message? Your mom is in the shower after we banged." He didn't say that last part, but he might as well have. There's so many layers as to how messed up this is. So first of all, she for sure cheated. The timeline isn't timelining up. Todd heard so much about Ricky in the month his parents have been divorced. Okay, but worse than that, you're going to introduce yourself to your girlfriend's son who doesn't even know you exist by answering the phone for her?
You brainless loser! You dipshit!
I feel so bad for Ricky. I'm going to rant more about Ricky's mom in a bit. Don't think I skimmed over the whole her abandoning her kid thing.
That doesn't look right.
Episode 8 opens up with them finding out that the theater burnt down thanks to Ben and Jen, but no one knows they're responsible except for them.
The fire alarm, and Benjamin Mazzara said run.
You're saying this in front of the firefighters, within earshot of them. What are you doing?
Partners in crime. What should their ship name be? Benifer or Genjamin? Regardless, they should be fired on account of the fire. Thanks to Carlos's uncle, they have a new possible location at the El Rey Theater. Gina is MIA this whole time, and everyone's super sad she might be moving. Conveniently enough, this is the episode where Courtney's singing talent is made known to the entire cast. But she can't revel in that for too long, unfortunately, because Miss Jenn is having a mental breakdown. A gentle breakdown. It's anything but gentle, actually.
They cut my line. Is that the last sample? I have a line here. Did I miss it? Did you hear my line? Is that the last sample?
Lucas Graybiel, who played Ryan, appeared to her in a dream, where they sing about how Miss Jenn's leading role can be in her own life. In other words, dude, grow up. You can't just send kids to Take 5 and then waste half their day because you're spiraling. Hey, Carlos, can you smack the shit out of her for me?
Miss Jenn, say something.
Thank you. Also, Ricky and Nini almost kiss again because of their past. Hot take, this scene never would have happened if Gina was there to progress her emotional connection with Ricky. So for anyone else watching at home, the stakes are so low. But as someone who did theater in high school, Courtney going on as Taylor's understudy with less than 24 hours notice, I'm so stressed out. Like, I'm gonna be 100% with you. I had butterflies watching this. So Courtney was actually only Taylor for about 2 seconds before Gina came back and played the role for the rest of the show. Ricky was doing really well until he saw his mom's boyfriend in the audience. Ricky's mom is such a piece of shit, dude. She doesn't communicate with her kid. I hate her. She got his head out of the game during Get Your Head in the Game. And now he's fully checked out, asking EJ to go on for him as Troy. Not only because his family's stressing him out, but also because Courtney invited the dean of the conservatory Nini really wants to go to, and she's watching in the audience. And Ricky's convinced that Nini needs somebody better to make her shine. Except no, that doesn't make any sense. It's just gonna throw her and the rest of the audience off. How did Troy Bolton grow a foot in intermission? Last episode of season 1. EJ is Troy for a bit, and Miss Jenn was totally right. He lacks the emotional depth. He found this out a few episodes ago when he stole her book of notes. Yeah, he was back on his stealing shit for a hot second. Doesn't matter. This episode does sneak in one redeemable EJ moment. He's the one who flew Gina out to experience this. Now for Ricky's mom. This fucking loser attempts to guilt her own son. Like, oh, I thought you'd be happy for me. Why would he be happy for anything you're doing when you barely call and barely visit? Your actions prove to your son that he is not a priority, so no wonder he latches on to Nini like she's all he has. A depressing thought for a 16-year-old, but that truly is what happens. He truly does think of Nini as his only constant. Proving my little theory that I think he would have given his relationship with Gina more of a chance if she stayed. But he has abandonment issues, so after she left, he returned to who he's most familiar with, and that's Nini. Ricky gets to play Troy again at the end, making this the most confusing version of High School Musical ever. Nini and Ricky get back together because he's listing off a bunch of moments from their past. He couldn't make it any clearer that he doesn't want to let go of the past. Speaking of past, Athena, can you recreate this scene for us?
Great job out there, even though you quit halfway through. What I'm saying is you're really talented, but not that smart. Well, goodbye forever, Ricky. Nini, stop! I love you! I love you when you sang that song to me, but I was too afraid to say it. I loved you ever since we were little and we both rode our bikes and scraped our knees, and we have so many memories because we go so far back. I'm gonna list all of them. When When I couldn't say Nina, but I just said Nini, I was the one who gave you that nickname. Remember, we go so far back. We have so many memories, and I love you so much. I love you, and the way you crinkle your nose when you laugh, and the way that when you sing you sound good. I love you. Ricky, stop. I love you too.
Gina is staying with Ashlyn so she can continue to go to school with her friends. And on the opposite side of things, the conservatory offers a spot to Nini. I don't know how, in all honesty. That production of High School Musical was a shit show, and she was talking out of character on stage for half of the show. Also, it's an insult and a crime that they pushed Big Red and Ashlyn's romance into the credits.
Oh god, is this being played off like it's a choice? Like, oh, it's either the school or the boy. Bro, you can do both. We're in the 21st century. Phones exist. Long distance. Holy shit, that's so... Like, what even is gonna be season 2? Like, why should I care, to be honest?
So wow, a few minutes in, and Ricky said everything I've been saying about his character out loud. He told Nini she's the one person he can always count on, and that she is his home. He said this before she was planning on telling him she was leaving for the conservatory in just 11 days. Dude has no time to process, and to make matters worse, she puts off telling him even longer. Miss Jenn runs into her very successful ex named Zach, who mentions a high school theater award show called the Menkeys. And because Miss Jenn is stuck feeling inadequate, she just has to compete too to prove herself, using these kids' talent as an extension of her own. The annoying thing is, Kate Rangers, who plays Miss Jenn, is very talented. She played Glinda on Broadway, which makes total sense. The first time I watched this, I thought she was Kristen Chenoweth for an embarrassing amount of time. Miss Jenn crashes the kids' New Year's party at midnight, not a weird thing to do at all, to announce the spring musical of Beauty and the Beast.
You're gonna cover all my movies and you're gonna like it, bitch!
The final beat of the season 2 premiere is Nini breaking the news that she's moving to Denver. So now Ricky and everyone else knows that she's leaving.
You both inspired me to want to try out this semester. It's intimidating being basically like brand new to theater.
If you're so brand new to theater, and I know a hustle when I see one, why are you monologuing?
Who you just met is Lily, and she's new to East High. She gives immediate Sharpay vibes, not because she's blonde, but because she's a lot. She is reverse Gina. Gina tries to be intimidating when obviously she's nice, but Lily tries to appear nice even though she's so obviously competitive. In fact, even though she's very talented, Miss Jenn doesn't cast her because she is seen making fun of people throughout the auditions. And honestly, good on Miss Jenn for not condoning bullying. A high school production is never so important that you have to disregard people's character flaws and make kids' lives a living hell. I knew Ashlyn would play Belle from the moment they turned on the main character lighting.
She almost has main character lighting. Oh!
But that was once again a warm-up somehow.
I would shit myself.
For their actual audition, Gina, Courtney, and Ashlyn performed a trio, even though it makes zero sense for a Beauty and the Beast audition.
Beauty and the Beast.
But it's okay, because the only thing we're looking for in these auditions is friendship.
I'm sorry, I thought this was an audition, not a friendship circle.
She really said this isn't RuPaul's Best Friend Race? On My Good Christian Disney Channel.
So the casting is Ashlyn as Belle, her cousin EJ as Gaston, gross, Courtney as Miss Potts, Big Red as LeFou, Carlos as Lumiere, Sebastian as Chip, and Gina was once again disrespected by getting Babette. And I get people say it's a dancing role, but guys, I think she wants to sing and act too. Also, Ricky gets the Beast even though he bombed his audition. Because look at this teamwork. All it takes to be cast as a dude is being a semi-decent person. This high school theater department is just here for the fun. Meanwhile, Nini's conservatory program is made up of pretentious tryhards. To be fair, the way they rewrote this scene is really stupid, but I do get it. She thought she could experiment more in these classes and grow her craft through, you know, making mistakes. But the professors there see acting as nothing more than being an empty vessel for the writer's work. When Nini tried to have a main character moment in this school, she was immediately put on vocal rest for the rest of the day. She was literally silenced. Allow past me to vent about how this really spoke to my college theater experience.
Truth be told, I'm the Nini in that situation. I got main character syndrome bad. I'd go, is there room for experimentation? And the professor would go, sit your ass down, Athena, you stupid idiot. This dude straight up looks like every professor ever, and I hate how well they cast it. I want to be a star too, Papa.
It's Valentine's Day, and as always, the timing is off for Ricky and Nini. They both tried to surprise visit each other. Nini didn't even know Ricky moved, so their communication is already very choppy. But somehow they both wrote the same song to each other. Courtney starts working for Big Red's family's restaurant, where many dates are happening. Carlos and Sebastian, Big Red and Ashlyn, I'm cringing knowing what happens later, and also Ben and Jenry's, before Miss Jenn ditched Ben for Ricky's dad. Ben's look of disappointment crushed me. I don't know, dude, Ben and Jenn are just cuter together. Gina also tried to reach out to Ricky as a friend because this is her first Valentine's Day away from her mom, and she knew Ricky would relate. But it is so awkward between them now. Ricky texted a thank you to Gina as a box of chocolates arrived for her, so she assumed it was him and texted him a thank you when it was actually her mom. Seeing her pained realization made me cringe. Do you ever cringe out of empathy?
There's this crazy new thing called getting a room.
We should hold each other for warmth.
The Get a Room Challenge. Now endorsed by the rest of the theater club.
Episode 4, everyone is snowed in and tensions are high. Not romantic tension, anger tension. Gina feels weird about everything with Ricky. He's playing the whole chocolate thing off as a joke, trying to make her feel more comfortable, but instead she just feels made fun of. Because he may have temporarily moved on between those mutual feelings, but clearly she hasn't. Miss Jenn, driving Nini to the bus station, hears about how unfun the conservatory is. And Nini essentially comes to the realization that she makes better art when she doesn't want to die, so it's official. Nini's coming back to East High. Miss Jenn also gave a beautiful monologue about how dreams change sometimes, so although Nini still does want to go away, it'll just have to be to somewhere else at another time. Which I honestly think is a very mature decision. She didn't change course for a guy or for her friends. She changed course because she wasn't getting what she wanted out of the program. The whole song she sang was her questioning whether she was taking this opportunity for granted. A very real fear, and the lesson is so real. Just because an opportunity presents itself that maybe other people want, that doesn't mean you should have to force yourself to want it too when you don't. EJ, remember him, didn't get into Duke because his essay was too surface level. This is the second time he's been called shallow, and he's also playing Gaston, so I'll count that as a third time. He feels really lost. His whole family got into Duke, and he let that define him. Which tells me that him not getting into Duke was actually a blessing, because he clearly needs more to his personality and life.
I didn't get into Duke.
Maybe it's because you poisoned someone.
In episode 5, they decide to throw Carlos a quinceañero. His boyfriend Seb reveals that when he was 12 years old, Carlos inspired him with the video of him dancing. Sebastian also performs the climb for him.
Keep my head held high.
It was really sweet. And usually I would mush. Just fucking wait. Anyway, he performed the climb. It was great. Speaking of uphill battles, Lily transferred to North High, Miss Jenn's ex's school, where they too are performing Beauty and the Beast. Super petty, very theatrical, tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time.
Gina wants to go home again.
It's getting old, Gina.
Even though I think Past Me was a bit too harsh, I do wish there was more build up to that. On the other hand, high schoolers are just like this. On the other hand, on my third hand, I wish every time they did a fake out like this for Gina or Nini, they sang I Gotta Go My Own Way. I wish they did that every time. I would have lived for it. I gotta go my own way. I'm back.
Psychowitz walked so Miss Jenn could run.
To try and one-up North High, Miss Jenn decides to cast Nini as the Rose. The original plan was for Nini to write a song between the Rose and the Beast, but Nini was struggling to write it. The entire episode, Ricky was beyond needy to Nini. When he gets stressed out, like when he heard Miss Jenn and his father are dating, he fell back into old habits and blew up Nini's phone. He is suffocating her. Also, at an improv intensive, Miss Jenn asks the cast to answer questions in character. But it's clear she doesn't know what in character means. Because for EJ's answer to what book would Gaston live in, he says he should live in an etiquette book because that guy needs better manners. That is not answering as the character. That is critiquing and judging the character as yourself. So when Ricky says the Beast canonically can't read, that actually shows knowledge of his character, but Miss Jenn snaps at him for not taking the work seriously.
Sorry, this dude knows more about his character than you do, I guess.
Ashlyn convinces Gina to stay with a beautiful song. song. That plot point was rushed. Wait a goddamn minute, I just realized something. Even though it was rushed, that further established Nini and Gina as foils because Nini didn't come back for Ricky. But Gina almost left solely because of him. They are on totally opposite journeys. Courtney and her coworker Howie have had chemistry building up for the past few episodes. And when she confessed how she felt towards him, while also saying that she's not going to change, it really inspired Nini. Nini writes the song as a solo for The Rose, where The Rose talks about how she's so much more than what the Beast thinks of her. Which, for Beauty and the Beast, makes no fucking sense, but it couldn't be more obvious Nini is writing from personal experience. And she even tells Courtney over voicemail not to tell Ricky. This'll go over well, I'm sure.
It's a show tune. It doesn't actually mean anything.
It means so much to me.
Is he actually surprised that the song means a lot to her? Like, did he not listen to it? It's not like the lyrics have meaning.
After the cast doesn't know where their Beast mask went, they assume North High stole it. So they go to North High undercover. EJ and Gina are acting cutesy as Ricky and Nini's relationship falls apart. Aside from Lily challenging them to a dance battle,
School versus school dance-off to Beauty and the Beast song chosen at random.
Tale as old as time.
What song other than Be Our Guest is a dance song?
She also spells out what Nini's song meant to Ricky and tells Ricky that if he needs a girlfriend that doesn't need space, she's available. North High's French kid that's playing Lumiere also hits on Ashlyn and tells her she should break up with Big Red to be with him.
You are the most beautiful girl I have ever met in this room and also in the world. I travel so much. I am French. And
this trip to North High destroyed everything. Miss Jenn found out her ex stole the mask after all. They found out they can't change the text of Beauty and the Beast unless they want to be disqualified from the competition. And Ricky happily jumped to the conclusion of, okay, let's just cut the song, which really pissed off Nini. And I see now that this isn't an isolated incident. Nini came back home to find her creative voice, and once she found it, it was immediately taken from her again. She decides to find an outlet posting her original songs to social media, and she introduces herself on there as Nina. This is significant because when they were younger, Ricky is the one that gave Nini the nickname of Nini. Also, this is probably some of the worst Ricky moments in the show. I know why he has abandonment issues. They established his trauma so well and I empathized with him throughout. However, him considering Lily's proposal and looking back at her as his relationship with Nini complicates is gross. It's gross. Also, Courtney's boyfriend Howie is playing the Beast in North High's production, and this is a huge betrayal because, I don't know, he didn't tell her. This is so frustrating.
I still want to hold on to what we had, but it seems like you're happier without me? Is that right? Why are you crying? Yeah, you've been holding me back. Also, I deleted an Instagram comment from your Instagram. Why did both our breakups involve Instagram? I don't know.
Also, by the way, even though Nini's going by Nina now, I'm still calling her Nini just because I think flipping between Nina and Gina would get really confusing. I respect it. I just know with names this similar, I'm gonna fuck up. I don't trust myself. Ricky and Nini haven't been talking, but when he finally confronts her, he asks if the songwriting Instagram has anything to do with him. To which Nina responds, actually, the whole point is it has nothing to do with you. Ricky deletes a comment off of Nini's Instagram that would have been an amazing career opportunity for her. He doesn't want her to go. He's holding on to what they had, even though what they had is nowhere to be found. Ashlyn and Big Red went through a tiny bump in the road that kind of felt like the opposite of what Ricky and Nini were going through. Ashlyn isn't holding Red back like how Ricky is with Nini. Instead, she just keeps saying you can do anything, to the point where it feels like she's minimizing Big Red's actual dream of running his family's business. I wrote in my script here as I was watching this episode, she wasn't trying to make him feel like the dream was too small for her, and they quickly make up because they are the most stable couple in the entire show. Didn't age quite well, but I like that I had faith. Courtney, who is usually the unwavering voice of reason, drops one of the silliest lines in the entire show. I didn't even know you could sing like that. Who knows what else you're hiding? Unreal. Amazing. No notes. And finally, Nini and Ricky break up in this decked out treehouse. 1, I want this treehouse. And 2, oh my gosh, another High School Musical parallel. Right here, right now. In High School School Musical 3, the treehouse scene showed how Troy and Gabriella's love persevered in the face of fear and uncertainty. But in High School Musical, the series, the mouthful, we have the curtain falling on Nini and Ricky once and for all. And I agree with the writer's decision. I know there were diehards for Nini and Ricky being endgame, but sheer chemistry alone doesn't overshadow their lives going in two totally different directions. Plus, he ended up getting pretty controlling by the end. And that's the last thing she needs right now. He was seriously EJ Season 1 level controlling. One line I really liked during the breakup is Ricky admitting that he didn't like who he was becoming, while he was constantly chasing after her. One last thing I'm going to say about the Ricky and Nini shippers. I think it's important to realize what tropes you're fond of, because I feel like a lot of people who are fans of them are just fans of childhood best friends to lovers. And I'm sorry, it doesn't always work out, you know what I mean? In my script, I wrote, these characters almost have too much self-awareness at this point. They're theater kids, let's bring back the stupid. And I hate that I tempted fate like that, because season 4, Episode 9, Spring Break, opens up with all of them over a video call. Miss Jenn said they needed to stay connected during these trying times. A silly, goofy nod to the global outbreak and quarantine we all experienced that in this world doesn't exist. North High made a hit piece about East High slacking off, so they wrote a song that Ricky wasn't a part of because he just needs to be alone to process his emotions. Ricky is with his mom in Chicago over spring break, and I really love that he confronted her about every way she fumbled in season 1. I'm glad they didn't let that slide. Could her apology have been better?
That if you met Todd, you'd see what I saw.
Is that really what you want? If Ricky saw what you saw in Todd while he was on stage, he would hop off stage and then leave his family for him.
Yeah, but she's significantly more likable in this episode than she's ever been. Gina has a one-day flirtationship with this guy from the airport named Jack. A lot of this series is emotions and character building, and I can't truly capture a lot of that unless I were to read the transcript word for word. This was a very talky episode, but I'm not patient enough to give the play-by-play of that. Episode 10 starts with Miss Jenn having one of her classic breakdowns over North High's set and technical elements being leagues better than theirs. That plus Carlos delivering the news to the group like this. You guys, Mother is freaking out. No one roasts him over this because this is how truly all of them view Miss Jenn. It is uncomfortably accurate. Theater is not just an interest or hobby on the high school level. It is almost always proving yourself to an unstable adult. So because Miss Jenn made her unconfidence in them very well known, the cast spends their free time trying to perfect the Beast transformation scene. Ben acts as Miss Jenn's therapist, and we see some of his self-awareness.
The first time my students won a robotics award, I called my dad in tears to tell him, I'm an adult man. You're not the only one with demons to exercise.
EJ opens up about how he's nervous about having feelings for Gina because of how he blew it with Nini. He says he doesn't have feelings for Nini anymore, but is ashamed of the way he acted. Sebastian and Carlos make up after their 2-episode fight. This fight happened because during spring break, Carlos posted pictures with some boys and Sebastian got all insecure, which is rich coming from him. Sorry, I don't want to spoil what happens, but it seriously fucked up the way I look at the rest of the series. I was rooting for them so badly. Anyway, in this episode, they're fine. In fact, Ricky goes up to Carlos to encourage him to talk it out with Sebastian because what they have is special. And Carlos sings a sweet song for Sebastian, which you'd think would reassure Sebastian that Carlos loves him. But Sebastian is an insecure little fucking prick. Sorry, about Ricky helping out Sebastian and Carlos, I wrote right here, this doesn't necessarily cancel out Ricky's dipshit era, because Lily called him asking for advice and referred to Big Red, his best friend, as the boy in auditions who couldn't stand upright. And right in front of his best friend Big Red, he says, yeah, I vaguely remember him, which is beyond disrespectful. At this point, I would have defended him, but shut up. We'll get there when we get there. Anyway, why Ricky is entertaining Lily is beyond me. EJ asks out Gina, and the episode ends with the cable holding up Ricky snapping.
Oh my gosh, the murder of Ricky, oh no. That's where it ends? Prediction, Nini's gonna play the Beast.
It would have been significantly more interesting if Nini played the Beast. Have one of the girlies play the guys' roles. Instead, Ricky and Ashlyn, who he fell on, both have tiny casts. The casts are very manageable. I don't know how he didn't break every bone in his body. Instead of Miss Jenn being worried for their well-being, she says that she's not as mad at them as she was previously. What a fucking asshole. The only reason they pulled that stunt is so you can be happy, Miss Jenn. There is an emptiness inside you, Miss Jenn, that cannot be filled with the love and respect of teenagers, and just from that sentence alone, Jail. Also, past Athena has an excellent point.
I must say, who the fuck is playing Cogsworth?
There's always one lead they completely ignore. Courtney's boyfriend, yeah, they got back together off screen, is acting very awkward, proving that maybe Courtney's instincts were right. North High kids just cannot help being overly competitive. In fact, at the end it was revealed that Lily stole Ricky's harness, so they can't do the transformation scene as they rehearsed. Also, Miss Jenn in the heat of the moment told Ricky to jump off something high. What? Dude, you can't just tell a kid to fucking kill himself and then go on keeping your job and dating his dad after the fact. Also, we meet Gina's brother, Jamie, played by Jordan Fisher. He's a successful music producer, but not the best brother. He also completely misreads the vibe, discouraging EJ by calling him a brother figure to Gina. Big Red made a sign for Ashlyn that lights up. They write him as the best boyfriend ever. I'm almost tearing up as I say this. Shut up, shut up. Howie confesses that he was just blown away by Courtney's performance and is a bit intimidated. So everything's fine there, for now. No! Miss Jenn is losing the few marbles she has left, monologuing at the ghost light. And nothing really happens until the very end when EJ and Gina cleared things up and kissed. Nini is reaching out to Gina's brother to make music professionally with him, and Ricky called Lily. Also, they decided to drop out of the award show, so that build-up went nowhere and they scrapped Nini's song for no reason. 3. In true High School Musical 2 fashion, we have a change of scenery for the summer, but unlike High School Musical 2, they couldn't secure the whole cast. On the road trip to the summer camp, we see the new couple, EJ and Gina, along with Courtney, Carlos, and Ashlyn, which means Big Red and Sebastian are not joining them for this adventure. Ugh. I wish I could go back in time and just not watch season 4. Fucking hated season 4. Anyway, we catch up with Nini, who has her series send-off because much like Olivia Rodrigo, she's moving on with her career. Ricky was casually seeing Lily until he saw his harness from Beauty and the Beast, and now they're over.
Why would you just have it hanging up? Can you believe that the girl that was trying to sabotage your show tried to sabotage your show? Ricky, you have one brain cell.
That too felt like way too big of a build-up for nothing. We meet new characters, the mysterious and moody Jet, and the socially awkward Maddox, or Gadget. We also have a celebrity guest, Corbin Bleu, who is the most famous person in this universe, apparently.
Does Corbin Bleu actually have a helicopter to bring him to places? If he doesn't have a helicopter, Disney owes him a helicopter after this. I googled, does Corbin Bleu have a helicopter? Nothing came up.
He announces the camp production is going to be Frozen, and a documentary about putting up the show will premiere on Disney+. And yes, they did name drop their streaming service. Corny.
This is the biggest Disney jerk-off I've ever seen in my life.
So Corbin Bleu is only directing and producing the documentary, and not the actual musical, so EJ is forced to direct, even though he didn't want to. Now, from what I remember, EJ was shat on from every angle imaginable this season. If this came immediately after season 1, it would have been fun to watch, but it was just, you'll see. But if you need me to spell out the direction this season is going in, let me break down this final shot line by line, and shot by shot. Nothing will ever get between us this summer. Boom. Ricky shows up between them, and here's what annoys me. I understand Ricky was dealing with his own shit, and when he tried to be Gina's friend when he was still with Nini, it didn't work out, but they legit have not spoken for the entire second half of season 2. So even when he was single, he thought a better use of his time was giving Lily a chance, as opposed to rekindling his friendship with Gina. His priorities were way out of whack. And it makes me wish he stays single for as long as possible, but you know damn well that's not gonna happen. Love Triangle 2, commence. Episode 2, we meet Val. She's a CIT, a close friend of EJ, she's casting the Frozen production, and her actor was in Zombies, a movie series I definitely have to cover at some point. EJ starts his directorial debut with the unforgettable tradition Miss Jenn started.
Do you wanna build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman.
Okay, falsetto. Jet, angsty quiet boy, shows up late for auditions but has a voice of gold. Carlos breaks in to see the cast list and doesn't like what he sees. Episode 3, sorry, we're zooming past this season because I was really eager to get to the one I haven't seen. Now I realize that was a mistake. Courtney is Elsa, Gina is Anna, finally a lead, well deserved. Ashlyn is ensemble, which she's not taking the best, and I completely understand. Ricky is Kristoff, Jet is Hans. Carlos is complaining about getting Olaf, which I don't understand. And EJ is the reindeer. But he's already directing the show. They couldn't have made Ashlyn the reindeer? Whatever, dude, whatever. Gina tells Ashlyn she's acting out of character since she isn't vibing with Maddox or Val. And Gina's right, Ashlyn is usually so friendly towards everyone. But turns out she's being thrown off by more than just casting. Did anyone have discovering sexuality on their bingo cards? Classic theater shit. Genuinely thought Ricky was gonna have his own similar journey, because I was picking up chemistry between him and Jet this whole season.
He laughs. Look at that.
But apparently not. I don't know. We also find out that Jet is the brother of Maddox, and they have serious drama. Episode 4, everyone's trying to impress Corbin. This has almost nothing to do with anything, but every Courtney outfit this episode blew me away. She's the main character as far as I'm concerned. Main relationship issue incoming. EJ wanted to take a gap year, and that's the impression him and Gina were under, so they thought they'd be together next year. But it turns out his dad is sending him away next year, and he keeps this a secret. I understand communication is key, but can we not reuse the same issue from season 2? Nini didn't want to tell Ricky she was moving. EJ doesn't want to tell Gina he might be moving. Plus, the whole jealousy thing seems like a bigger issue to me.
Maybe your secret late-night hiking buddy Ricky knows, huh?
This camera dude for the Frozen documentary is diabolical, thinking he can only get a good show out of these teens by emotionally devastating them. Ironically enough, that is the same stance the season 4 writers take. He even calls himself the archaeologist of their angst. So he's the Miss Jenn of this season, except they're actually framing him as the bad guy. You can mess with these kids' feelings, but once you mess with the show, you've gone too far. Also, the camera guy is filming his own confessional. Who's filming that? Corbin and camera dude tell EJ there isn't enough drama, so they might move on to another camp. But because EJ knows how much his friends are looking forward to this, he ensures they're gonna bring the drama.
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama.
They try to stage drama, only for real drama to happen. Did someone say the ongoing theme of this entire show, just in a different format? Yeah, I did. Just then.
Ow! My face! I've been slapped.
Something I forgot is that both EJ and Gina experienced extreme jealousy. Gina was jealous EJ keeps confiding in Val, even about the no gap year thing that she found out about on her own, and EJ is jealous because there's clearly unresolved tension between Ricky and Gina. Let's talk about Ricky's violence towards EJ that they play off as a joke, because this is the second time he's inflicted pain with no repercussions. There's only so far my empathy can go. He can keep home wrecking already wrecked homes, but the dude needs to be slapped back at least once. The Kristoff and Anna number felt personal because it was. Gina went out of her way to make EJ more jealous, more indication they shouldn't be together. Stay tuned. But also a reminder, this is the casting. Ricky is Kristoff, Gina is Anna. This tension was gonna come out one way or another. Wasn't expecting EJ's own cousin to live for it though. Has anybody here ever heard of loyalty? Season 4 confirms no. The most upsetting drama thus far is by far Jet and Maddox. One can say, they used to be best buddies, but now they're not. And I'll tell you why. He outed her to their parents.
Bruh.
Yeah, that is definitely difficult to forgive. After that was brought to light, everyone's still focused on themselves. Zero empathy. Ashlyn calls EJ Elton John Caswell, so that's what EJ stands for. And somehow, Gina also takes his name as a personal attack. You have enough stuff to actually be upset at him for, so you don't have to make up shit. Oh, she's running away. Ricky was caught on camera confessing his feelings to Gina. Next episode is called Color War, and they admit in this Frozen documentary that this is just to pay homage to the Disney games. So fun camp games, which include some sporty stuff. And other than dance, Gina is just not good at sports. So we get a reverse I Don't Dance song that's nowhere near as good as the first, but I mean, how could it be? Miss Jenn comes back to give EJ some directing pointers. Here's my impression of Miss Jenn giving directing advice. It's all about the strength of the group. One exercise I enjoy doing with our family is holding on to some streamers while we dance around a pole. They act like EJ and Gina still have a shot by having them share cute moments, even ones Ricky helps with. Can't say they didn't try, I guess. And Ashlyn finally has the realization that she's been snapping at Val because she has a crush on her. And this scene was so beautifully done. I remember crying realizing I was bi while in a serious committed relationship to a dude because it felt so scary for some reason. But it's like, this doesn't change the way I feel about my partner. I just learned something new about myself. That's what I thought they were doing with this moment. That is genuinely what I thought. Second to last episode of season 3. They've mentioned Gadget's ex a few times. I wonder who it could be. JoJo Siwa? Come as a bitch. I should've known better. I can't believe my members only live stream made me watch the music video to that. I'm a significantly sadder person because of it. At the 70s themed dance, we are brought right back to season 1 EJ and Ricky. Remember when EJ called out Ricky for the thirsty voicemail? Now EJ catches Ricky very unsubtly checking out Gina and hits him with, "Do you need to go outside and get some air, Richard?" Dude leveled up to Richard. Richard. Let's stop beating around the bush. Next time, EJ should just call him Dick. Gina broke up with EJ and the reason makes total sense. He was working on making the show perfect, so there might be a chance he could stay, instead of strengthening his relationship in the present so it can be worth fighting for later. He promised Gina a dance and he wasn't there for her all night. Gina doesn't want to wait. And that's fair. A relationship being this complicated this early and being unable to spend time with the person to actually grow the relationship, it doesn't seem promising. Let's get to the season finale. Miss Jenn and Nini are here to watch the show, but they're also talking about next semester. Nini loves it in California, but hasn't decided if she wants to stay yet. She doesn't want to disappoint her friends, and if that's the only reason she's still considering East High, I'm not gonna play it up like it's actual stakes. You know Olivia Rodrigo is out. And in fact, the way they wrote her out, I'm glad they gave it proper closure, but it was just funny that she was like, "Oh, you have all the talent you need here." Like, she had to watch the show to make sure. If the show was a train wreck, she would have been like, "Yeah, you guys need me. I'll put my career on hold so I can bring this show together with my talent." Kind of crazy. Anyway, on to our main characters. Courtney facing her fears while singing Let It Go. I almost cried. I love her. She is the character throughout the series that pissed me off the least. EJ's daddy issues only worsen. He desperately tells his dad over the phone that he really wants him to be proud of him, and how does his dad react? He hangs up on him. That's really intense. I can't believe you made me empathize with the main villain of season 1. Corbin Blue redemption arc when he tells off the camera guy. Who cares? One other hilarious moment is when EJ tries to storm out, only to stop dead in his tracks when Corbin sings. "My dad doesn't love me. We're all in this together." We cut to 1 month later at the premiere of Frozen the Musical, the documentary. I love all the hair changes. EJ and Ricky are giving us nothing, but that's besides the point. I wish they stayed like this for season 4. They see the trailer and I care about basically none of it except for Big Red coming out as bi at the end in a confessional for a show he's not even a part of. Kind of iconic. EJ is upset, but he's not even mad, saying that Ricky is his brother. And he leaves so Gina and Ricky can have their moment. And I didn't hate it. I probably wouldn't have responded like EJ, but it was cute. Enough time had passed at that point, it didn't feel like a rebound. It was chill. I want to see where the relationship goes from here before I give my final thoughts. Season 4 picks up on the set of High School Musical 4. This is a movie that follows the reunion of characters we know and love. Now, I would say I'm jealous we don't get this movie in our universe, but Troy, Gabriella, and most importantly Sharpay aren't even there, so I'm actually fine with this not existing. Ryan is married to Scott Hoying from Pentatonics, but also Miss Darvis is here and I love her. I loved seeing her throughout this season. She was a beacon of light in these dark times. Oh, anyway, how does this relate to our characters? Gina is playing the lead in this movie while all the other characters are extras. And Gina has to kiss her co-star. At this point, I didn't understand why the others were trying to make Ricky jealous of this. Such enablers, my god.
Is it woke? Is it throwback? What if it's both?
Oh dear lord, what am I gonna do this season? So that whole opening scene actually takes place at the end of the season, so bear with me. We are introduced to this guy, Mac, who's a celebrity in this world, and he's also Gina's childhood crush. Ooh, Ricky. When Gina first meets her celebrity crush, he is immediately very mean to her, breaking the news that all 7 of his dog co-stars died, which doesn't sound normal. How long was this show running? 7 dogs? We're already starting the season on a downer. If they didn't make it clear enough that this guy is no threat to Ricky, the music video and lyrics to Maybe This Time take us back and we revisit all of Gina and Ricky's moments that led them to now. And god damn it! I'm supposed to be snarky, but they perfectly captured their relationship. This lyric, "Where we're headed, I don't want to miss a second. If the lesson is to enjoy the ride, I'll try and maybe this time." It captures how rocky and uncertain the journey was and is, but that they're willing to try because they really enjoy each other in the moment. I love the acknowledgement that they just kept missing each other, but all of those moments led them to where they are now, and they're not overthinking it. They're not dwelling in the past. I love that for them. I actually really enjoy the way they've been writing them. So here's where things get super fucky-wucky. Sebastian is not not talking to Carlos because he's convinced that Carlos cheated on him because of the way the documentary was edited. I really thought their foundation was stronger, that this wouldn't be such a big issue, so I was already annoyed, but I didn't even know the half of it. I still, to this day, don't know why Gina and Ricky were keeping their relationship a secret from the others. Also, Big Red is studying abroad, which is why he's not here. The auditorium is being rented out by the movie, so Miss Jenn has to hold auditions for High School Musical 3, the school theatrical production, in the rehearsal room, by sneaking out extras in between their breaks for High School Musical 4, the movie. Are you guys able to keep up with this? Be honest. I barely am, and I watched the whole damn thing. If there's one thing Ricky is, it's a romantic. He sang the theme song of Gina's favorite childhood show about golden retrievers while presenting her with golden retriever puppies. How can I hate on this? How am I supposed to be snarky? That shit's cute. I'm already rooting for these two. Something else I just noticed, holy shit. In season 2, episode 6, Nini says that she only eats Hawaiian pizza because Ricky likes it. Now we see Ricky trying something because his girlfriend likes it. It's genuine growth. It's him not projecting his personality onto his girlfriend, but instead trying something out. Not because Gina said so, just because he wanted to be part of her life in this way. I thought it was really cute. I don't know. And these two, like Miss Darbus, were the beacon of light for me, because everything else goes to goddamn fucking shit. Positives. Think of the positives. Courtney is Sharpay in the musical. I love that for her. In episode 3, Maddox and Jet transfer to East High, and Jet begins playing Chad. We have finally made it to what I genuinely fucking hated. Seb and Big Red kissed. Seb cheated on Carlos, and Big Red cheated on Ashlyn. The two people that openly admired their partners the most. No red flags in sight. Shit happens, right? It's called the drama department, right? I'm flipping my chair around to scold you like a disappointed teacher. Ashlyn, before she heard about this betrayal, was half a second away from cheating on Big Red with Maddox. The only reason she didn't is because she was interrupted. 2 people cheated, 1 person almost cheated. Wait, there's more. So this is why Seb accused Carlos of cheating on him, because he secretly hoped it was true, because then he would feel less guilty. It gets worse. In season 3, Seb visited Carlos. Big Red visited Ashlyn. Was this before or after they cheated? Because Big Red went up to Ashlyn. He said, I'm even more confident in our relationship now than I was before. But this also led to a breakup, so that was a lie. Big Red coming out as bi at the end of the documentary. He announced it so proudly, with the knowledge that he cheated on his girlfriend. Look at the way he smiles while breaking the news to her. This is unhinged. This is fucking insane. I kissed Seb. Yeah, like you're gossiping. This is your girlfriend, dude. But again, Ashlyn was relieved because she wanted to pursue Maddox anyway. As if there was no love between them prior. As if that conversation from season 3 about both of them being more confident than ever, it's like it never fucking happened. Because long distance always breaks up people, right, Disney? It gets fucking worse. Before Carlos and Seb got together, Seb was dating Natalie, the old stage manager. He said they spent most of their time making out. And he didn't throw in anything like, it was gross, or this was before I realized I didn't like girls. So Seb might be bi. I'm putting that out there as a possibility. So 2, possibly 3 bi characters. And all of them cheated. Yikes, you guys couldn't have had one of them just not? I know the theme of this show is change and self-discovery and growth, but there are ways to do that without your loved ones feeling dispensable. And also perpetuating the whole stereotype of bi people unable to do monogamy and cheating, and it genuinely fucking triggered me. So what was the aftermath of this? Big Red and Ashlyn parted ways amicably. Ashlyn said something along the lines of, did we just have the most heartwarming breakup ever? No, you didn't. The heartwarming breakup isn't when one person fucking cheats on you. How aren't your feelings hurt? They already had more than 1 foot out the door of their relationship, which is very upsetting. Because like I said, prior to this season, there was no indication of that happening. This is the worst part. Carlos is heartbroken. The entire theater group peer pressures him to hear Sebastian out. Why should he? Why should he? Fuck Sebastian. I stand by what I said at the beginning. You shouldn't have played Sharpay. Carlos deserves so much better. But Carlos takes him back because the entire theater group pressured him to do so. Gina and Ricky wanted to keep their relationship a secret, but Ricky was also really upset with Gina for not telling her mom about them. Me not understanding that aside, Ricky went to EJ for advice. EJ shared that he doesn't talk to his dad anymore or financially depend on him. So he's busting his ass, but you can tell he's at peace and he's excited about where he's at in his life. Also, he might be dating Val. Unclear. EJ also gave Ricky advice he's needed to hear for a while now. You can't keep running away when you're confused and scared. That was so fucking real. I love how much reflection this character has done. He went from one of the worst characters to one of the best. The one concerning thing I will say is the genuine grief he feels for the theater department. Even saying, enjoy the time you have left. You're never gonna find another group like that again. The definition of a cult is a usually small group of people characterized by such devotion. Fascinating. Ricky and Gina talk out everything and have a romantic kiss in the rain. They are golden. I ship it. They have to save the high school show again. And they do so by spilling little secrets. There's only two I care about. One, Gina is the person that gave Ricky the advice to sing Nini's song at the auditions. Gina is the reason Ricky got into theater in the first place, and Ricky's also the reason Gina auditioned. Their origin story went so much deeper than we ever could have thought. And secondly, and most importantly, Ben was in a boy band that had a messy breakup, which is why he poo-pooed the arts so much. Incredible. Miss Jenn broke up with Ricky's dad over being a man-child, who gave out batteries to children on Halloween because he forgot to pick up candy. At that point, just don't answer the door. So anyway, like I said, they have to save the show until Deus Ex Coach Bolton and Miss Darbus appear to financially back the theater department. Penultimate episode, and it's the opening night for the musical. This is the first time we've never witnessed a single rehearsal other than the table read, so it feels very underprepared. And I get nervous every time, I don't know why. Sebastian decided to jump on stage in a show he's not part of to kiss his boyfriend and come out to his dad. Way to make it all about you, Sebastian, you fucking bitch. Goddamn hate that guy, dude. Ricky's parents are back together, I guess? Clap if you give a shit? Yeah, I know, right? Ricky wants to tell Gina that he loves her, while Gina is afraid to tell him she was offered a role for a movie that's filming in New Zealand that would end up taking her away from him for the remainder of his senior year. She even asks EJ for advice and apologizes to him because now she knows how difficult it is breaking the news that you might be leaving to someone. Fascinating. They also began cursing like damn sailors by the end of this show.
Hey, by the way, who the are you guys?
Last episode, Maddox and Ashlyn end up together. Good for them. I also want Ashlyn's outfit here. I love it. The French boy came back to tell Big Red that he actually likes him and that he's not actually French. Yeah, okay. Courtney got into her dream school and I guess she's dating Jet now? We never heard what happened to Howie. And most importantly, during the press conference for this new movie, Gina signed the contract and changed the location from New Zealand to Salt Lake City, which is where their school is. Is she allowed to do that? Well, she just did. And Ricky tells her he loves her. It was cute. I think it should have ended at season 3. I really enjoyed watching Gina be a movie star, but I wish I could have seen that arc in a less rushed way. And the way they still treat Sebastian like this sweet, innocent angel that could do no wrong, even after it was revealed he cheated, makes me physically ill. The infantilization of this piece of shit. It makes me see red. God, I said red. Another sensitive topic. So anyway, now that we've unpacked all of that, is it camp or cringe? Like most of the shows I watch for this series, camp and cringe go hand in hand. They intended to call out theater kids, and by God they did it. Camp is purposefully cringe. And the way they did it, they studied a specific kind of cringe. A cringe I am very familiar with. Very camp, very cringe.